Yes, I'm still here, Hollywood. And coming up on today's episode...
I still have trouble with that.
Thinking about Robin?
Yeah, thinking that he did that. Because that is not something I would ever think that he would do. I mean, really. Yeah. He loved his kids so much. When I got pregnant with Danny, I was supposed to go to Japan for a 6-month modeling contract. And I went and I talked to my agents down there, or my agency. And they said, okay, well, you have this modeling contract coming up for Japan, so we'll take care of this first and then. And I was like, what? I wasn't getting it. You know, like, well, you know, you're not really going to. And I was excited about having it. I mean,
they were talking to you about possibly ending your pregnancy?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
What training did you have to be an actor? Did you have any?
No. I mean, I went to a few acting classes and watched, and I was like, something's off. Something's off.
I think that's pretty common, though. People don't like to see themselves or hear themselves.
No, it wasn't me. It was the teacher. I was like,
I'm sorry.
Fuck this guy. He's a pervert. Wait, I might have to burp. Hold on. Do you guys have an outtake tape?
I'll be editing, so I'll cut it up.
No. Contraire, mon frere.
She wants to be her.
I can do a really good one. I feel it coming, but I just don't know that I should let it all out.
The term ingenue is tossed around Hollywood far more often than it is in, let's say, Cleveland. It usually refers to the beauty of a female actor. And yes, I said actor, because the term actress is just so 2022. There's one very talented actor from Cleveland who burst onto the movie scene as an ingenue out here in La La Land. She has co-starred with some of the biggest names in film. And though in her most relatable role, she tugged at the heartstrings, playing a woman she knows well, a mom. This is Still Here Hollywood. I'm Steve Kmetko. Join me with today's guest, Monica Potter from Parenthood. If you'd like to be more involved with us at Still Here Hollywood, you definitely can. Just visit patreon.com/stillherehollywood. You can support us for as little as $3 a month. You can get our episodes a day before they post anywhere else. You can see what guests will be coming up and submit questions for them. You can even tell us what stars you want us to have on as guests. You'll see what goes on before and after the episode, plus exclusive behind-the-scenes info, pics, video, and more. Again, that's patreon.com/stillherehollywood. Hi, Monica. How are you?
I'm great.
In a good mood, huh?
I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for coming by and talking to us today. I've been wanting to talk to you for the longest time.
I know, me
ever
too.
Since Patch Adams.
Well, that's a really long time.
That is a really long time ago.
How have we not met?
I don't know. But in Patch Adams, you worked with one of my favorite interview subjects, and that was Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Who was just the greatest guy.
Ever.
Was that the experience you had with Robin?
Yes. He understood me, and oh boy, we would talk about certain things, and he's like, you know, he was very shy, and he was extremely sensitive. He was very funny, as we know, but I saw a part of myself in him, and he said, you know, I've found my female version of myself, and I'm like, where? And he's like, you just have to protect yourself, because I'm very sensitive, and sometimes I'll use humor. I mean, I don't normally do funny roles, but we had a lot of talks about things, about life.
He was just the most empathetic person.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't think people realize that entirely. I mean,
yeah.
The average.
He You know, when you cry or something, first of all, this is the only job I could have where you could go to work and be allowed to cry and not get fired, you know? And that's an emotion that we all have, but when we're taught to push that away, laughing, and Robin said this to me, laughing and crying is the same thing. And I said, thank you. I've been saying that since I was a little kid. It's the same thing. It's an expression of how you're feeling. And he was the biggest empath I've ever met, besides my dad.
Okay. Let me ask about some of the other people you've worked with.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
So fun.
Yeah?
Very good kisser.
Important.
I can say that now that I'm twice divorced. No, I had good marriage. Yeah. We'll talk about that on another episode.
Okay.
We had so much fun. The scene, I was very nervous. It was only my second movie. And we couldn't get through the first take of where the bad guys walk up in the bar and, you know, they said, one of them said something and he was being serious in his role, but Nick and I were kind of standing back and I just went, and I heard him go, and I went, oh no. But we must have done it 20 times and we couldn't stop laughing. I forget the exact thing he said. It was the other guy, forgive me, I don't remember the actor's name because it was so long ago.
Yeah. What about Philip Seymour Hoffman?
The time I got to spend with Phil we played basketball, we went to Walmart, we did things that were so much fun. And again, very, very sensitive, but very serious actor. But also, he kind of had this wall up but he was like a big teddy bear. Just, I miss him too. Like it.
I interviewed him for Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
And I could see at that time just how serious he was.
Yeah. He is, but he isn't. I mean, he's one of the funniest people I've ever worked with. It is just, I made him, I know what it was. We were in Chapel Hill, and we were filming Patch Adams. And I said, you need to come to my hotel room and watch this documentary. And it's called Hands on a Hard Body. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
God knows I would have watched it.
If you want to get the flu, if you want to feel flu-like symptoms in a moment's notice, just watch that. It's about a group of people that want to win a car or a van. So they have to have their hand, at least one of their hands on the vehicle at all times. So
that's the hard body.
Exactly. So Phil and I watched it, and just do yourself a favor. Don't do it. Actually, don't do it. It's so draining. By the end of it, he goes, "Am I allowed to swear?"
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, "Fuck you, Potter. I feel like I have the flu," and he just rolled off the couch. We were crying, laughing because it was one of those things you can't not watch through the end, till the end to see who wins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I'm flop sweating thinking about that. Okay, it's hormones too.
Okay, and what about one last one? Because he's one of my favorites. Is Morgan Freeman.
Fun, so fun, so much fun.
How do you react with him when that voice comes at you? It seems to me I would be distracted were he talking to me,
Oh, I found it to be very soothing and very comforting, I was just talking to someone about this the other day because it was raining, we had a scene where it was raining at dusk. Wait, I might have to burp. Hold on. Do you guys have an outtake tape?
I'm the editor, so I'll cut it up.
No.
Or I can keep.
Contraire, mon frere.
She wants you to. She wants to be her.
I can do a really good one. I feel it coming, but I just don't know that I should let it all out. Morgan Freeman. So
Yeah.
working with him was a blast. I learned so much. You know, Robert Towne was my first director for the movie called Pre. And he would always say, learn and earn.
What about Steve Prefontaine?
That was the first movie I did. That was the second movie I did. The first movie I did was called Heaven or Vegas. I don't know where it is.
Real serious.
It was.
Oh,
I
was it?
actually played a Mormon girl. So but working with Morgan was like, he was serious, but he was also like really funny. I mean, we're not saving the world here, you know? And I feel like the most professional, the most iconic, the most wonderful actors that I've worked with and actresses, I say actress still. I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
You know what? I have already canceled myself, so I'm just saying I'm canceled. That's the name of my podcast coming up.
I'm canceled.
Already canceled.
Already
It's
canceled.
like double jeopardy. Not with Alex Trebek, but you know, you can't cancel me back because I'm already canceled.
Why are you canceled?
Because I just say what I want to say.
Oh.
And I'm afraid, people are afraid to say anything
Anymore.
about anything. Right? Like anything. And I think that's stinky.
I saw Whoopi the other day say something about what being woke means. Being woke just means you care about other people.
Right.
Was it her or was it Jane Fonda? Maybe it was Jane Fonda at the SAG Awards in that wonderful speech she gave. Being woke just means, you know,
Yeah.
you care about other people.
That's what I didn't understand. I don't even know what woke means. Because if you're woke, now, that means that you know what's going on. If you're sleeping, that means, well, you could astral travel and you might know more, but I don't understand all the verbiage of that kind of thing.
No, neither do I.
I just think it's gone too far. Like, everyone just get along. You really, that's why we're here.
That's what Rodney King said. Can't we all just get along?
That's, I mean,
Makes sense.
sorry.
Thank you
You're welcome.
to put a punctuation point on it.
that. Okay, so Morgan Freeman, I'll go back to that really quick. He was so much fun to work with. We had to do a scene where we had to learn how to, you know, use guns and all of that stuff. So every time there's a gun in any movie, you're heavily trained. And I also had to take defensive driving, which I did early in my life too, because I kind of was like a tomboy. But I remember having to make this really long drive, and it was on the edge of this cliff, and Morgan is in the seat next to me, and I'm driving, and it's raining, and then on top of it it's movie rain, and we're on this cliff and we're shooting in Vancouver, and I was like, we didn't have any dialogue, but I'm like, holy shit, how am I gonna do this? Like, holy shit, how am I gonna do this? He was like, don't you dare put your foot on the brake. Keep your foot on the pedal and don't brake. I'm like, I know. Because he's right. You know, your instinct
Right.
is to brake while you're making the turn. But I did. I mean, he just little things like that.
So you liked him.
I love him. I do.
You seem like kind of a fun person.
I am. I like to do things that I like to do. You know, my dad was an inventor, and he had a genius IQ. He died young at 64.
That is young.
Yeah, and he was my best friend. And while he was so intelligent, he reminded me a lot of Robin. A lot.
How so?
Empathy. There's a part of my dad that I just saw in Robin too, like always wanting to feel accepted and appreciated without hurting anybody, you know? And my mom is she's 100% Irish, so it was a good balance. My mom's great. She's 80, she'll be 84. And it's good when you have a balance like that when you're with your parents, especially. My dad really pushed me a lot when I was little to become an actor. He said movie star. And I just thought it was something. I said, I want to go across. This is what it was. I was 3. And I said, I want to go across the water to help brown people. I have no idea where that came from. And then he said, Maki, you know, that was my nickname. He thought I was going to be the boy of the family, obviously. Well, you never know. Just kidding. And he said, go to Hollywood, become a movie star, and you can help way more people. So I thought about wearing this sandwich board, like a star, and I saw myself, how I knew this, I don't know, on the Hollywood Walk of Fame with the marble, like the stars, passing out money and hugging people. And
that's something to aspire to.
Yeah. Well, I've done the passing out money thing a lot, and like I love hugging, I love people, but I think it goes a little deeper. I'm not, and that's where I'm at right now with the award shows. The business side of this business is a lot. It's, you know, and especially with everything swirling around these days with conspiracy theories and people going down rabbit holes, and we're not paying attention to why we're really here.
Right.
And that's to serve and to be one with each other. And I'm not into this like woo-woo new age stuff. That's just how I was raised. Is, you know, we grew up very poor. So
how did how you were raised impact how you raise your children?
Well,
did your father's empathy rub off?
Oh,
with your kids?
Oh yeah, my kids are very, very empathetic, very sensitive, very, and all of my sisters are too. They're all. Jessica's the oldest. I'm second. Bridget. They're all in healthcare. My sister Jessica works with autistic adults. And Bridget is one of the head nurses at the Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And Carrie works with the poorest of the poor that need help with mental health. So they're all like they're my favorite people in the whole world. My sisters. And so you just kind of, it's not something that rubs off. It's something that you have, I believe, in your lineage. When I was in Ireland visiting my family there, I saw it, you know, because so many of my family members were all the same that way. But we do like to have fun too. In weird ways.
I can tell.
Yeah.
We'll be back in a moment. Tell me something about something your father invented.
Well, my dad had 87 patents, but he never made money on them because he worked for companies that would make the money. Anyhow, he invented a fishing lure called Whiptail. And I remember going to his little factory on St. Clair Avenue in Cleveland. Every morning, I would hear the old Buick start up, and, you know, so I would, and if he left the house without me, I would run downstairs in my diaper and whatever onesie I was in and chase him down the street. And we lived on, I still have the home. And he would look in the rearview mirror and go, oh, and he would back up and put me in the car. And I just remember learning about how he was making things and how he treated people, and he always wanted to employ people, especially those that were not always given a second chance.
Mm.
And that is also something I learned from him. But the fishing lure called the Whiptail was for bass fishing. And I love fishing, but I don't like to keep the fish. So I don't really want, now I'm like, well, if you're catching a fish, why do you do that? That's mean. Anyhow, I digress. So he invented the Whiptail, and a friend of his said, Paul, you can come out. It's my dad's name. You can come out to the pond with your daughters. It was Jessica and I at the time, and Bridget. I think Bridget was there too. And test out the Whiptail and see, how it does, because he had a big pond or lake full of bass and catfish and whatever. And we stood there, my sisters and I, for about all day. It was just taking breaks or whatever. And it was getting towards the end of the day. It was probably around 7:30 p.m. And we hadn't caught a fish. And I said, he's like, okay, Maki, let's just pack it up and let's get going. And I'm like, I had this real thick voice. I was like, probably about 7 maybe. I'm like, okay, that'll be. I was just like, I wore husky jeans as a kid. I was just thick. My mom would say that she's just thick. Or husky. Whatever. I stood there with the fishing pole and I said, one more second. And I said, God, please let me catch a fish so my dad knows that this fishing lure will work. And it does work. And I closed my eyes and I held the pole, and all of a sudden I felt this huge tug at the end of it. And all I remember is throwing the fishing pole over my shoulder and running as fast as I could up the hill and pulling this fish out. He was like, it works. It's working. It's working. And I said, I know. I told you it would work. And from that, he sold many of them, and I still have some at home. So and it goes deeper too. It's like wanting people to believe more in themselves than they give themselves credit for, and kind of like healing that inner voice of not feeling worthy enough, or even if they do something great for mankind or whatever, an invention, whatever it is, they still don't feel like it's enough or they're enough. And I think that's going back to teaching or coaching acting. That's something that I want to instill in people, because this can be a tricky industry.
Yes, it can be. What's the trickiest part, do you think?
The tricks. Learning
Tricks of the trade.
It's about knowing when to use your voice and when to listen,
Mm-hmm.
and trusting your instincts.
That only comes with experience, though, doesn't it?
No. I think, I mean, yes and no. I think because I started so young in Cleveland, I started when I was 12, modeling and doing commercials with David and Lee, and then in Chicago, where you're from, or you live. And I think it's about knowing and trusting your inner child, little kids know things that we're trained to forget, So knowing when to stand up for something and pull out your sword because it's something you believe in and you want to protect or fight for is something that a lot of people are afraid to do.
Yeah. Pulling out my sword has gotten me in trouble.
Yeah. But you know what? Would you, how so? Would you go back and put your sword back in and not pull it out?
This is leading to too many places.
See? I mean, we could go anywhere with this thing.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions here from our subscribers at Patreon.
Okay.
One is Zoe to Go, is how she signed her name.
Oh, hi, Zoe to go.
You burst on the film scene in such a big way, it felt that you were another Julia or Sandra. What was it that steered you from movies to television?
Oh, well, thank you. I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I think when I was at the height of my career, like when I was doing movie after movie after movie, I was going through my first divorce. I'd been married for 10 years. So I got married at 18 and then had Danny at 19, was married for a while, and then moved back to Ohio while at the height of my career, but then continued to do films. I don't know. I still do movies, and I love movies, and I love working. I love being on set. I don't like to be out and about, and I told, Jim knows, our producer here, I'm not agoraphobic, but when I'm on set, I feel, no matter what set it is, unless there's some mean people, but I take care of that real quick.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think it's just, that's just how it happened. It wasn't something, it was probably the material also. And it had to do with the business side of things too, because I stood up for myself and kind of...
You have to do that early on, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Always. And I think a lot of people are desperately trying to please people. But when you know something is wrong and you call somebody out on it that maybe is like a higher up or someone in the agency, wherever it is, they don't like that. And so, you move around to different agencies sometimes, as you know, I'm sure. And whatever path you're on. And you can pivot. But usually there's a great experience of learning and trusting. And that's how we build up to who we are.
Okay, another Patreon subscriber asks, there was a scene in Patch Adams where Robin Williams' character talks to you about attempting suicide. Did you reflect on that after his death?
No, I don't remember the scene. I still have trouble with that.
Thinking about Robin?
Yeah, thinking that he did that. Because that is not something I would ever think that he would do. I mean, really. Yeah. He loved his kids so much that I guess, yeah, I don't remember that scene, and maybe I blocked it out on purpose. I don't know.
And also in Parenthood, your character was diagnosed with cancer. Mm-hmm. Did that have an impact on your real life at all?
It had an impact on my kids because Danny, my oldest, he's an actor, and he said, "Mom, protect yourself with this role because you take on everything as if it is." And
carry it around with you.
Right. Except when I'm in the scene or when I black out. I remember certain things, but I'm not clocking it in my head. I just kind of go with the flow, and then, or whatever comes out is the way it comes out. And I think my kids were more worried about that than I was.
And your oldest is Danny?
Danny's the oldest. He's 34.
Oh.
And then Liam is, Liam just turned 30, and Molly is 19.
Did you push him into acting?
No.
Did you encourage him?
No.
Did you give him any advice? Sounds like he gave you some.
I didn't want my kids to do any of it. Yeah. Just because I grew up in it with And I wanted them to be kids, but Danny was actually playing football at the University of Wyoming, and he called me. He was upset and said, Mom, I want to come home and I want to go to acting school. And I go, just come home. But football is not for you. They're so sensitive. And then Liam went to Columbia here and studied writing. Liam's a lot like my dad, very sensitive, very quiet. And Molly now she's always wanted to act. They all grew up on set, and they all remember Robin and, coming to set and meeting all kinds of people and just being embraced by the goodness of the good people. And I've been so blessed and lucky to work with really good people. Nice, kind people.
Monica, tell me, your TV son hung out with your real son?
Yes, Max.
How did that go along?
Max Burkholder. No, they have the same kind of... I met Max when he was he 9? And now he's in his 20s. And the kids in this whole neighborhood all sort of know each other. They're all really good kids. They're not snotty, bratty kids that are, not like the typical what people think Hollywood kids are. We're middle class. That's what we are. We're not we're blessed, but we've also been through a lot, like everyone. So to see the two, Liam, my middle one, and Max kind of meet outside of the business because of who they are as individuals. And Kelly, Max's mom, is such a great person, a great woman, and that is a true testament to how she raised, Max and James, his brother. And so Liam told me, Mom, I was out at the M&M market and I ran into Max. And I'm like, what were you guys doing? It's like, we're buying beer. And I'm like, Max is not old enough to buy beer. But he is. So it was just like one of those things where they would hang out in certain parties and interact. And then, it is like a big family. And when I work with kids especially, I'm very protective. Very protective.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You still consider Cleveland home?
I do. I still have my home there. I bought it back in, I almost said 1916. What the fuck?
And doesn't work.
How do you know? It was built.
Just a guess.
Let's see. It's over 100 years old. So we sold it when we had to move to Alabama. My dad wanted to get like a real job. So we moved to Arab, Alabama. It didn't last very long, being from the north and not being, informed on the culture, I guess. But I do love my friends that I made down there. So, what was it? Where were we going with this one?
We were just going around and around the neighborhood.
So, okay, my house in Cleveland, we moved in a day before I was born, so June 30th, 1971. My mom was hanging shower curtains in our bathroom at the time. She went into labor, so I was basically born in the house.
Oh.
Not in the house, not that old. But it happens, a good push, you're out.
Well, reaching up to put up shower curtains, that could do it too.
It could.
Can hope.
I think
gravity.
That it's also why I don't like to have things around I think the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. In utero, I had a hernia. I was just a mess before I even came out. But, so she was hanging shower curtains, went into labor, and then we lived there, and we had to sell the house when we moved to Alabama when I was 16. And I looked at the house and I said, I will be back for you. I promise. I'll never forget it. So 2015, I believe, comes around, and I heard that my house, the guy that we sold the house to, had passed away in the house. His name was Jim Jones. Not that one. Nope, not that one. A different one. A good one. He was 50, and he was in a band called Parenthood. And he was kind of a hermit and, liked to collect. He had dogs. So he lived in the house since we had sold it to him in 1987. And I was told that the house is back on the market. And it was just one of my neighbors called on the street and said, we know how much you want your home. Here's the number. And it was like this generic, it was called like neighborhood realtor. The number was like scribbled in. And no one came to collect any of Jim's belongings. I don't know why, but he was kind of a pack rat and said, so the realtor said, it is as is. And I said, okay, well, what are you at? He's like, I don't know, 40 grand. And I went, okay, perfect. I will wire you the money. However.
Okay. Here comes the other shoe.
No, it was so fun, though. This is the best part. I love exploring. I love finding and, I call it Scooby-Dooing. I bought the house back. The amount of work we had to put into it, I actually did a show called Welcome Back Potter that we put up on HGTV. I think it's still up there. But when we went in, we found all of my dad's old invention benches, tables that we had, left because we couldn't afford to ship them down to Alabama. The dining room table was still there. Jim kept everything that we had left for him. And so it was almost like preserved, waiting for me to come back. And my dad had already passed away. So it was quite a journey redoing the house as well, And I love it. It's my sacred place. And I moved back in actually June 30th, 2016. So June 30th is my birthday. So how many years later?
Happy birthday soon. Not for a while.
Yeah. Thank you.
When you got back to your house, did it look a lot different from when you grew up there?
It was, you couldn't walk because everything, I'm a hoarder, but not like this kind of hoarding. I'm an organized hoarder. I like to collect things like leaves, rocks, just things. But this was a lot. So yeah, we had to redo the whole thing. But it did look, the plastic plant in the corner from the 70s was still there. Everything was the same.
Like a time capsule.
Like a time capsule, except run down.
I remember when we went back to my house in Cleveland for the first time, because we moved to Chicago when I was 6. I just remember the house, and I don't remember how old I was when I saw it for the first time, but it seemed so small. I couldn't believe how small it was. We were a family of 5.
Yeah.
I don't know where they put us all.
Yeah. It doesn't seem small.
Yeah.
It seems bigger now.
Well, my family grew up to be giants, so
I'm tall. How tall are you?
I used to be 6'1", but osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis. That's like sugar diabetes.
I've compressed. My doctor tells me my spine is compressed about 2 inches or so. So
yeah, it happens.
That would make me 5'11".
But no, I understand what you're saying, because everything did seem, it almost seemed smaller back then. Maybe because I renovated it and did the things that my dad wanted to do while he was alive. So he died in January 2nd, 2004. And I got to go back with my sisters and redo things and then punch out walls, and that was quite a journey.
Did you handle some of the tools yourself?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, we did it with we filmed it while redoing the entire house, which I would never do again because you have to stop. And I love him now, but I got in many butted heads with the showrunner, but he was fantastic. But every day it was like, nope, this is my home. We're not just gonna like. And he understood, and he was very, very kind and very patient with us. So, but getting all of us in one place at one time, we're Irish, and I'm the one that's always late because I'm always like, but I love to produce, but when I'm producing, I'm very, very extremely focused. And so that was something we had fun doing, but it brought up a lot of stuff that I didn't know existed inside of each of us and how we remember things differently. So I think there's a part 2 coming to that whole thing.
Okay.
Now that the house is done.
We'll be back for more in a moment. Is there anything about acting that you'd like to dispel to actors who have the dream that you had?
Dispel. I think there's no magic way. I mean, geez Louise. I just had a knowingness that that's what I was supposed to do because I was told at an early age, and it's on tape. I have the tape in my basement in Cleveland of my dad saying all of it. And I had to sing like a rhinestone cowboy I don't even know the words to it, but and I don't even know where it came from because we don't have anybody in my family that's been in the movie business. But I feel like if you're in it, like, what is the reason you're doing it? And that's the first question I ask the kids or people that I coach. What is the reason you're doing it? Why do you do it? Why do you want to do it? And because I'm not for everybody, if they say to be famous, and I do think sometimes fear or coming from a place of lack does propel and does push you to work harder and be an overachiever, which is something I've been known to do because you want to save your family and you want to help your family. Because
was that your motive?
A lot of it was, yeah. It was because we grew up poor.
Yeah.
We never went without, but my mom would clean the mall at the Euclid Square Mall, and our house was always pristine, always clean, always. We had the best childhood. The best.
Mm-hmm.
And
you had 3 sisters?
Yes. And we didn't have a phone for like 7 years, but it was okay because the whole street came over to celebrate. Was it 7 years? You couldn't, I don't know. It was just one phone. It was yellow. And then when it was installed, the whole street came over. And it was great. We got our phone. And I'm very, it's almost like the peaks and valleys you go through in life are just like part of what makes you want to be an actor, maybe. And you just haven't explored them yet. But I've been really lucky. Mm-hmm. But you have to also know, sometimes there's a prayer called Don't Say a Word. And I can't recall what all the words are. Maybe because I'm not supposed to say a word. But it's about knowing what you want to do and just having tunnel vision, not comparing yourself with others, but also don't talk about it so much because people always they want to encourage you mostly, but they might. Do you know how hard that is to do? And that is like when I got pregnant with Danny, I was supposed to go to Japan for a 6-month modeling contract. And I went and I talked to my agents down there, or my agency, and they said, okay, well, you have this modeling contract coming up for Japan, so we'll take care of this first, and I was like, what? I wasn't getting it, like, well, you're not really going to. And I was excited about having a. I mean,
They were talking to you about possibly ending your pregnancy?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
And not that long ago. Really?
It was never even a thought in my head. Never. Like, it was just never a thought. And here, I never had a lot of boyfriends in high school, and I was always pretty free-spirited, but, I also wanted to be a nun. So I was the least likely to be married first or whatever. And I was the first one to get married and have a baby. And then I had Liam at age 23. And I was on a soap opera, and I got fired. Thank God. I was terrible. No, I sucked. Steve, it was so bad. It was, and I'd still be on, probably, acting worse. And those actors on like sitcoms too, it is not for me. Where it's like dun dun dun. That's a tough thing. That's hard.
Dun 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 punchline.
Right. Yes. Or I don't think that quickly, or I'm not able to, like, being diagnosed by a few doctors on the spectrum, you're on whatever. Well, what else am I? I take my time with things. I do things that are different, and the way I go about things I do differently. So, but going back to dispel.
I should have looked that up while you were...
Yeah, I think you just pulled that one right out of your butt.
I did not. I know what dispel means. It just slipped my mind.
Sure.
Let's see here. iPhone unavailable. Try again in 1 minute. Oh,
well, the grid's going down today after the big one hits, guys.
Oh, is it?
Oh, it's off.
Do you have a secret talent? Seeing into the future.
Secret talents. I can read people very well. But sometimes it's an overwhelming thing, which is also why I can't. It's something I had really strongly as a kid. When I was really little, I would be alone a lot and in the field behind my house. And every day I would come home with a different animal. My mom said, Mock, you came home with a mouse, 2 snakes, turtles, wild rabbits. And like, I don't know how I caught these things.
Well, they were probably living in glass houses in Cleveland.
They were in the field behind our house on Lake Erie. So I would just sit there and kind of like talk to them, and, I guess I understand. I don't know if it's a secret talent, but I understand beings that are not able to be vocal, if that makes any sense. Whether it's a tree, and I know this sounds very new agey and weird.
Woo, woo, woo.
It's not. No, I swear it's not. And this was confirmed when I went to Ireland, because it's something that I used to try to hide, and it also comes from the place of being empathetic too. And Another talent I have is attracting people that aren't that way.
That aren't empathetic?
Oh yeah, those people. But I'm getting better at
Recognizing it.
sure ahead of time. Yeah.
Nip it in the bud.
Or just shut it down. Yeah.
And we'll be right back. What training did you have to be an actor? Did you have any?
No. I mean, I went to few acting classes and watched, and I was like, something's off. Something's off.
I think that's pretty common, though. People don't like to see themselves or hear themselves.
No, it wasn't me. It was the teacher. I was like,
I'm sorry.
Fuck this guy. He's a pervert. I just knew something was like, it's almost like I saw through, not all of them. I went to Janet Alhante. Was a great teacher. I went to a few of her classes, and she said to me, "Come here." And I said, "Yeah." She said, "You don't need me."
Ooh.
Because she didn't want to condition. It almost feels like sometimes acting teachers, not all of them, because there are so many great ones, I'm sure, but I don't have a method. I don't understand theater or like NYU stuff or all that stuff. Film school, I just understand what I understand, and that's feeling. The nuns at school would say to me,
Join us.
Miss Brokaw, well, that too. Or not really, I don't know. I investigated a few of them, found out. No, Miss Brokaw, that was my maiden name. You don't think. And I remember I just would burst into tears. And I said, I feel everything, though. And this is the only job that I could get where you could feel. And sometimes I really have to temper that because I'm, even as an adult, it's not always easy to not show your emotion,
Mm-hmm.
And so with the acting schools or acting classes, I would audit a few of them, and then I would see these kids that were my age. I mean, I was in my 20s early, and go, these people that are like yelling at these students or making them like some kind of weird manipulation or breaking them down to build them back up so they become reliant on them. That's not what you do.
But it's very common.
But that's a bad thing. You want everyone to feel, free. And I do have a hidden talent of being able to see who is got it and who maybe doesn't. And I would never want to work with anyone. And, but that's just subjective also, But you can also tell the actors that are trained that are sometimes not the best people. I have a gift for that too.
Okay.
That's a fun one.
Tell me this. Who first told you you were beautiful? Do you remember? Someone must have. You were modeling.
That is not I feel like.
It's a difficult question to answer. If you answer it in the affirmative, I'll tell you who first told me I was beautiful. Then people think, conceited.
No. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but I'm not. Thank you. I never thought about that. I don't think of myself. I think of myself as a character actress, because I haven't even scratched the surface on what that side of me. But modeling, I didn't love it, but it was a good way to make money and learn on how to do business and stuff like that. But I always think the word beautiful is also subjective. It's like you can be pretty on the outside and,
Yeah.
I think maybe my grandma Brokaw, my dad's mom.
Okay.
I don't know, because I always think of myself too like a boy, like a guy, like because I was raised like a tomboy. So I don't like think of the word beautiful. I equate that to nature more than any like people or people's souls. I do, but yeah.
You talked earlier about doing a soap opera, Young and the Restless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Young and the Rest of Us, as we called it. What did you learn from doing a soap that still serves you? Nothing?
That I never wanted to do it again.
Okay.
That I couldn't. I wanted to be fired from it. And ironically, I got pregnant with Liam. Is that tissue for me? Thank you. I got pregnant. Check the gate.
Yeah, the gate's empty.
Okay. I know. That's my favorite line. When I say it, you know who's old in the business, and then those that are like, what is that? Gate's clear. It's my favorite. That's one of my talents. Coming up with humdingers like that. Wait, what did you just ask me again?
Oh, God.
I know.
If you didn't take so long to answer a question.
Steve.
What did you learn from Young and the Restless?
Oh, nothing.
Nothing.
No, I learned that I'm not good. I'm not good there.
Okay. Period.
I'm not good there. I was not meant. Actually, not true. I was meant to experience that so that I knew how badly I sucked at it. So never to it. I would have anxiety every single day. Plus, I was pregnant with Liam, and I was playing like a 16-year-old. And when the casting director found out, she's so sweet. Her name's Jill, I think. And I said, I'm pregnant, and blah, blah. She's like, we're letting you go anyway. I was like, God, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God. But then we struggled for a long time, but we stuck it out and stayed here. But you have to have a certain skill to be on a soap. I don't have it.
Yeah. Hey, you had a home and beauty line, right? A decor?
I do. I mean, I had like a couple of stores, but I do love decorating. I love making every house feel like a home. I love the seasons. I love I actually brought you guys some sea buckthorn balm that I created I had eczema growing up. And, my dad being an inventor and stuff. That's why my finger is like this. People are like, you're doing that on purpose. So eczema is like kind of an autoimmune thing. I had it really bad as a kid. So I made this balm with sea buckthorn balm. It's oil. It's a berry. Anyway, I brought you guys some. And I love doing stuff like that. I love alchemy. I love mixing things and trying different things, and I always test them on myself to see if it works. I love inventing things. So that's a secret, maybe talent. I also love digging for things. I go on hikes.
You're going to be thinking about this question the rest of the day. What could I have said?
No. I'm just letting it out there, like a secret. I don't even think they're secret talents. They're just things that come up that I love to do.
Yeah.
And then the hard part is marketing because I want to just give it away for free for people that need it.
Mm-hmm.
But I realize that you have to make money for the overhead in order to do that. So, or like I'll go on digs for crystals up in the mountains, and then people are like, you should sell those on Etsy or sell those on, and I'm like, some of them go for
a lot of money.
And I'm like, no, because they're not mine. I didn't create them. You know, God did. So I give them away as gifts. And I have some for you guys, but they're in my backpack. I love Indiana Jones. Is that his name?
Yep.
I love all of those things. I love archaeology. I love
Me too.
anthropology, geology. Obsessed. I love it. I love camping. I love staying in my teepee out in the desert. I love being alone and going on digs. I love reading about certain things and history, and I love books, and I love being in my own world sometimes.
Well, thanks for letting us come in. I
Yeah.
so enjoyed this. I'm
I
so
did
glad
too.
you came and talked to us. And
glad.
I think you're beautiful. So
Well, thank you. I think you
welcome.
are too.
Oh, thanks.
I really do.
Thank
you have
you.
a beautiful soul, and I am very grateful that maybe we didn't meet before. Maybe this was the time for us to come together,
Maybe.
because you're super famous, and
I am not
yes,
super famous.
everyone that I've told that I was going to meet you, they were like, "Really? Really?" So yeah, you are.
You probably pronounced the name wrong and they thought it was someone else. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed this.
Me too. And I love you.
Thank you.
I do. You're a
God,
good man.
No one has said that to me in ages.
Well, it's the truth.
Thank you.
Still Here Hollywood is a production of the Still Here Network. All things technical run by Justin Zangerly. Theme music by Brian Sanashin. And executive producer is Jim Lichtenstein.